I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes,
Good morning, Ventura. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Fun with HR, the show where we talk about human resources and basically sprinkle you in, or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'd be really negligent as a husband if I neglected to say happy anniversary, Rosandra.
Thank you.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
Yesterday was our 5th anniversary, and we had a very nice dinner at Pirano's last night, and the weather couldn't have cooperated any better.
Oh, it was gorgeous. You know, it's always great when you're able to sit down, have a glass of wine, and watch the sun go down. And the light show that last night was amazing.
Oh, that sunset was just beautiful.
So thank you so much. Well, I'll keep you for another 5 years.
You will?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Contract renewed.
I appreciate that. 5-year contract. I love it. So, what's going on this week?
Oh, holy cow. You know, the theme song to this show starts off with Madonna's 4 Minutes, and the whole week felt like I was 4 minutes away from my clients having issues one way or the other. So it's absolutely appropriate. Who would have known that some of the things that I had to deal with this week were heat illness? We're in November, right?
We are in November, but, typically Southern California, we get these heat waves in November. And the thing that we need to get across is if you're in construction, landscaping, anything where you're working outdoors, when the temperature gets to 80 degrees or higher, you need to put heat illness prevention plans in place, in operation. And failure to do so could go as severe as the owner or the foreman or whoever's in charge of those crews could be personally held liable and even criminally charged, depending upon what happens. So if you're in construction, landscaping, that type of business, and you do not have heat illness prevention programs in place, you need to, because you never know when the temperature is going to hit 80 degrees.
And if I'm understanding you correctly, this isn't just for summertime. It's for any time the temperature goes to a certain degree.
Anytime it goes over 80 degrees, you need to put your prevention plans in operation.
So that means that for the next couple of days, we have the opportunity to demonstrate that we've listened and certainly put those practices in place and just be ready.
Yeah, looking at the news this morning, at least in the East County, you're probably looking at till the middle to end of this week when you're going to have to be dealing with this. So watch the news. You need to have accurate temperature readings on your work site so you know exactly what the temperature is. And make sure you have those plans in place. It's for the safety of your employees that you do that.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, I got to ask you, what's HR?
HR, they're the coffee party people, aren't they?
No, not anymore. That used to be what HR was. And the reason I bring it up is because that was one of the things I had to deal with this week. I had a client who called me and said, help, my garage door is not working. Can you call someone? And I said, unless it's an employee who's stuck under that door, no. Human resources is not maintenance. It's not accounting. It's not everything else. I would never get into the lane of any of these professionals. And certainly I think, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand human resources. It's about the employee-employer relationship. And unless it's specifically about that, we really do need to have professionals do your work. I mean, seriously, I don't cook. Do you really want me to make you a wonderful meal? No, you want a professional. I don't cut hair. Do you really want me to cut your hair? No. So just remember, everyone stays in their lane and we're all happy campers.
Well, I think, the real issue here is that when people retain the HR firm to do their HR, it's generally because they're in trouble. It's not because they're thinking ahead that there could be trouble. Mm-hmm. And, they hire us to make sure that they stay out of trouble. We generally get the call when they have somebody beating on their door,
right?
Some 3-letter acronym, government agency knocking on the door, and that's when we get called in. And then we go in, we do the work, and things settle down, and then they think, oh, we don't need HR anymore. Everything's under control, which nothing could be further from the truth.
Until the next time, right?
Until the next time.
Right. So, like I said, lots to deal with that. Speaking of three-letter agencies, definitely dealing with EDD, DOL. I mean, these are agencies that, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, they're not stopping their work. So we need to make sure that everybody is up and running correctly. But, I want to talk about something fun.
Okay, let's do that.
How about poinsettia sales?
Yes, poinsettia sales. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, which means the Christmas season is here. And the Rotary Club of Ventura East is doing their 33rd annual poinsettia plant sale. And for $55, you could get a case of 6 poinsettias. They're the 8-inch pots. They're really pretty big-sized poinsettias.
Mm-hmm.
Always really nice. And all of that money stays in the community. We use it for things like Operation Ventura at the Ventura YMCA. A big thing that in the Rotary Club of Ventura East is our annual scholarships, which if you have a high school senior that wants a scholarship, go to rotaryventuraeast.org, and right up at the top of the homepage, there's a button to click to get a scholarship application. We're giving away $125,000 in scholarships again this year. And
that's a lot.
They could go
That's newsworthy.
They could go up to $7,000 a scholarship, but there's $125,000 available. And why more seniors are not applying for this money, I don't know.
Well, maybe they don't know about it. So hopefully by other people listening to us today, they'll be able to apply.
We're getting the word out. But the thing about the Ventura East scholarships is that it's not merit-based. In other words, you could be your high school valedictorian and not get a scholarship from us. We are a needs-based scholarship program, so we look at need. We look at your grade point average. I'm not going to deny that. We look at that. But we look at things like, what are you doing to give back to your community? We look at, will this money that we're going to give to you, will that be the difference between you going to college or not going to college? Because let's be real. A lot of the people that have the 4.5 GPAs, which was impossible when I was in high school, but I guess it's possible now.
Well, you're standing in front of somebody that had over 4.0 GPA.
Overachiever. But a lot of these students, they're going to go to college no matter what.
Yes.
They're going to find a way. They're going to have the money. But a lot of your kids that are like 3.7, 3.8, they did really good in high school, but they're not your 4.0 or higher. They're the ones that need the help to fill that gap. So that's what we're looking at. Well,
good. Good. So let's get those sales and let's make sure that we support you just so that we're able to send more kids to school. I'm big on that. In the next few weeks, you're going to hear from me, if you're my Facebook friend, that I'm supporting an organization that sends girls to school in not only Africa, East Asia. Basically, it's an organization that looks for the need. And they are specifically girls and women who have been trafficked. So this is my way of helping women that wouldn't normally have a chance, a second chance, or even a chance to be educated, to really find that. And I think what you and I do, Jeff, is we're supporting local, we're supporting globally, because that's how we're going to leave our mark in this world. So if we can have everyone just help us, that would be awesome.
And that kind of goes along with on my speaker bio, when I speak, the last thing is, what do I want people to remember when I pass on, is that I just want to leave the world a little bit better than I found it when I got here. So anything we could do to help out. But let's talk about the Real Men Wear Pink.
Okay.
We are doing a car show tomorrow at O'Leary's from 10 to 2.
What is this car show? I've never been to a car show.
It's where people bring out their cars that they're proud of. And this car show is unique because it doesn't have to be a collector car. So it doesn't have to be like your 1967 Corvette or your Ferrari or anything
So what
like
you're
that.
saying is that my Sentra could be right next to a
Your
Ferrari.
Sentra could be out there if we want to bring that out there.
Hey, Nissan's constantly trying to get me to sell it back to him, so it's got to mean something, right?
It's got to be worth something, exactly. But the car show is going to be from 10 to 2. There's no admission to get in. Come on out and see a bunch of really cool cars that people are very proud of. And there's going to be some raffles to obviously try to raise money for Real Men Wear Pink. We had a little bit of a down year this year because of COVID. But we're going to continue the campaign probably into the beginning of 2022 this year to try to get every penny that we could possibly get. So tomorrow at O'Leary's from 10 to 2 is the car show, and we love to have a big crowd out there. And O'Leary's is going to be doing the pink Jell-O shots.
I don't want to know what goes into those.
I have no idea what's in the pink Jell-O shot, but
just sounds dangerous.
if it means supporting Real Men Wear Pink, then you're going to have to buy at least one pink Jell-O shot.
So tell me, who do we have on the show today?
Well, we have a really cool lineup today. I think we have some really cool people here. If you need physical therapy, we have Amy and Josh.
No, Brandon.
Brandon.
Rename Josh.
Where'd I get Josh from? Amy and Brandon here. I'm sorry, Brandon. From Equilibrium Physical Therapy. They have a really cool program over there that we're going to talk to them about.
Okay.
And right after the commercial, we're going to talk to Shana Elson with Top This Chocolate. We love Top This Chocolate.
Absolutely.
The chocolate is great. And the nice thing is you could go in there and you could build your own candy bar. If you want sprinkles or gummy bears,
Yes.
or graham crackers.
Yes, and if you're overwhelmed like myself with the choices, because, I make choices all day, and when I come in and I want chocolate and I have like 20 to 30 toppings, I kind of go, what do I do? Well, she's even got something for me because she's got it pre-made.
She
So I
has it
don't have
pre-made.
to make those,
And
right?
I can tell you're overwhelmed thinking of all of the options because you just gave us like 3 seconds of dead air.
I know. I'm sorry.
Which is murder.
I know. I know. But I had visions of chocolate and toppings, and that took my attention.
I could see that. Fun with HR is brought to you by the HR Firm. You can reach them at 805-853-FIRM. That's 805-853-3476. Because if you have employees, you have issues.
Every business owner knows employees can be your biggest asset and your biggest liability. That's why you need to know for sure that your company is compliant with today's ever-changing laws. The HR Firm is the premier human resource consulting firm in Ventura County, specializing in working with small to mid-sized companies. The HR Firm provides everything you need to keep your company compliant, from handbooks to policies and procedures to workers' compensation claim management. We've got you covered. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. Because if you have employees, you have issues. Hey employers, are you tired of spending your valuable time posting jobs on the job boards? Are you tired of looking through resumes to find that one diamond in the rough? Your time is way too valuable, so let the professionals at Atharva Workforce find that diamond in the rough for you. Spend more time on your business and less time looking for those employees. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
Welcome back to Fun with HR. Fun with HR's newest sponsor is Bob Davis with the Loan Depot, NMLS 249185. You can contact Bob at 805-491-7186. Hey, Rosandra. Our question of the week last week really just went crazy.
Crazy for us or just like crazy in
Just
general?
like people were really engaged.
Oh, love it.
Our question was cranberry sauce, fresh or from the can? The results were 29 people liked their cranberry sauce fresh, 12 from a can. And generally the ones that liked it from a can like it because they like to put it on a sandwich. But you could put the fresh on a sandwich too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. They haven't had fresh then. But this is the one that really just disturbed me. 4
Disturbed you.
people like to make fresh and then stir a can of canned cranberry sauce in with the fresh. That
The term "they fixed it" comes to mind.
that just made my mind go crazy.
So which do you like?
I don't generally like cranberry sauce. I'll
Me
be
neither.
honest. But I have had some fresh cranberry sauce so far this year at Rotary lunches, and the fresh is not bad.
I like cranberry salsa. I tried cranberry salsa at a friend's house once, and I can't remember who said it was a family recipe, but I don't think it's a family recipe because who has cranberry salsa? But it was good. Chips, it was perfect because the savory and everything.
Oh, wait a
went
minute.
through.
You're talking about real salsa.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that. Although somebody did say to mix jalapenos in with your fresh cranberry sauce.
Right. Well, for me, I'm not the spice person, but it was actually salsa, as in it had cranberries. It definitely had chunks in there, so it wasn't from a can. And I don't know what else was in there, but it was delicious.
Awesome. Let's move on.
Wait, that got more results than the candy corn?
The candy corn, yeah. Yeah, more.
I think people just don't like candy corn.
I think you're right.
Okay.
But this week's question
Yes?
kind of goes in line with our next guest.
Okay.
Chocolate, dark milk or white?
Ooh.
I know white's not really chocolate, but it's in our vocabulary.
It's still. I mean, I have people that have said, I'll have chocolate, but only if it's white. And I kind of go, okay. I mean, you got to accept everybody for what they like. So
Exactly.
it is what it is. I mean, I love milk chocolate. I love chocolate. I just love chocolate anyway. But I have to say, I now have a very good sense that dark chocolate is really what I'm going to be moving into. And not the baker's chocolate. I don't like that.
No, we had some really good dark chocolate over in Maui. I know where you're going with that.
Yes. I mean, 30 calories. Who doesn't want chocolate that's 30 calories?
Well, we learned about the chocolate diet, so.
Yeah, we did. Well, anyways, that's not who we're talking about. Shana is somebody that we wanted to talk to. And I just want you to know that one of the things that I love about Top This Chocolate is that they could fit my name on a chocolate bar. So that in itself is an accomplishment because most people kind of go, oh gosh, there's a lot of letters there. And there really aren't. It's just 2 more in front of Sandra. So it's not that bad, but I know it looks bad.
That also goes to show if you get a chocolate bar at Top This Chocolate, it's not a small bar.
No, it's not a small bar, but it's delicious.
It
and
is.
then you could put everything else. So Shana, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Tell us all about you. Go.
Okay. Wow, okay. I don't know. You want? So when I was 2, the birthday cake was chocolate. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell us a little bit about you, though. We want to get to know you.
Okay. So, well, first I'd like to say I'm still somewhat new to town. It's been 2 years now in lovely Ventura, which I love. So I'm still, I'm feeling very welcomed in this community and still meeting people and getting around. And, I love it when people come into my chocolate store and say hello, let me know who they are.
How did you get into chocolate?
Okay, so that's a great question, and I'll give you the short version of a long story.
Okay.
So I was a lawyer, and I was feeling very unfulfilled in my law career. I took up baking and pastry just as a hobby, but was trying to improve my skills, get a little more professional with it. I wanted to, my friends were like, you should open a bakery. I didn't know anything about, running a business. Lawyers are very risk averse. So I went back to business school, actually, and I was like, I want to open some sort of dessert business. My big idea was in chocolate. because I could have opened a bakery, but they're very much like, oh, you have to do something new and different and exciting. Why is anyone going to go to your bakery? I mean, the truth is people are going to go to your bakery because your baked goods taste good. But I became a little bit obsessed with my unique idea in chocolate while I was in school. And I just loved working with chocolate and making, chocolate products. It was, one of the things I loved. But I have to be honest, I developed the whole business concept in school, the concept being customizable chocolate bars with the toppings of your choice on the spot, sort of where can you go to get what you want in chocolate. And I was just sort of working through the process, through my entrepreneurship classes, thinking, oh, this seems like a good idea. I don't know. I'm probably going to go get a job in food and beverage. But then I won a pitch competition for women entrepreneurs at school. I won first place, $25,000 towards my business. And then I thought, oh, wow, I'm really going to do this. And it took over my life from there.
That was the universe saying chocolate.
Yes, absolutely. The universe was saying chocolate. The universe pulled me in, which is good because, as anyone knows who has a business, you have a business, if you're not absolutely 100% devoted, it's not going to work. You're not going to make it come to life. You have clients who have businesses. Everyone is so passionate and cares so much, and it sort of becomes your baby. So that brought me from LA to Ventura, where I found my beautiful location in the harbor. And I launched from there. I had never run a business before. No one has ever done this concept with chocolate before. So there was a lot of uncertainty. I didn't know what to expect. I was very stressed out. But here we are 2 years later, and it's going well. And I'm always listening to my customers, trying to get feedback, and, just sort of thankful to still be here providing chocolate for the community.
So you opened just before COVID hit then?
Yes, that's correct.
I remember that.
But she opened with some major ideas.
Yes, she did.
Chocolate-covered Oreo cookies.
Yes.
Decadence. Love it. It's actually one of the things that even if I don't want to buy one, I will buy one every time I go in there because I will eventually crave one. So it's nice to have it.
And, Shana kind of covered this when she was going through how Top This Chocolate started. But not that I trolled you or anything, but I did do some research. And I saw that Shana went to UCLA School of Law, and her business studies was at the USC Marshall School of Business. And I was going, how does somebody with that kind of education end up in chocolate? But, you kind of explained that. And it makes a lot of sense because I totally get it that being a lawyer, while a lot of people love it, could be unfulfilling. And it's what your story tells me about Top This Chocolate, and the reason why really I'm going to continue to just love your store and go there is because you have a passion and a drive for what you're doing, and I think that's really great.
Absolutely.
And you better watch out. There may be a bread bakery in our future based on Shana's story here.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well, because in essence, what I'm hearing as well is it doesn't matter what you think you're going to walk into. It's an experience on its own. So walk us through what somebody would expect as soon as they walk through your doors.
Okay, sure. So when you walk in the doors, you're going to see flowing chocolate, milk white and dark from machines. And then you're going to see a toppings bar with over 50 choices of nuts, dried fruit, candy, cookies, potato chips, and other various things that you can put in your bar, as well as the chocolate letters that we use to put names in chocolate bars, which you mentioned earlier. We hand make the letters there and just have them ready to put into a bar. So it is a little overwhelming, as you mentioned, but it's actually a very simple process. Choose your chocolate, choose your toppings. We turn it into a bar, and it's dry in 8 minutes or less.
Yes. And I have to say, the only reason why I said overwhelming is because I wanted it all. I didn't want to limit myself to one or two choices.
Yeah.
I wanted it all.
And
it
they
all looks
said
so good.
You cannot put all 50 toppings on one,
No.
on one bar.
Have you had anybody ask that?
I think we've gotten 15, but the thing is there's only so much real estate on the top of the bar. So if you do that, you're only going to get, one of each
One bite.
item. So we don't necessarily recommend that, but we have done it. Usually it ends up being very colorful and cute. So
It does everything, and you're able to specialize for the holidays. So I wanted to definitely give you the opportunity to tell us about that, because the holidays are coming up, and I have to say, Jeff and I for years have done nothing but support local. So whenever anything happens, like major holidays, birthdays, anytime we're giving away anything at either Rotary, we do local, because some of the bigger companies, they don't need our money necessarily, but our friends and the people in our community, they do, because we want them to stay around. Talk to us about what you have coming up, though, for the holidays.
sure. So I've got delicious hot cocoa bombs. It's probably the best hot chocolate you've ever had, because we use such high quality cocoa powder.
Yes.
In them. And if you've never had a hot cocoa bomb, it's like a little ball of chocolate. You put it in a mug and pour boiling water over it. It turns into luscious hot cocoa. So
Can you buy those individually?
Absolutely,
Or in a
yes.
pack of 6, 12, 18?
right now we just have them individual, and they have marshmallows inside, but we also have vegan ones that don't have marshmallows for the vegans.
Nice. Okay, I love those.
What's in marshmallow that makes it non-vegan?
Gelatin. Yes.
Okay. Get it. Got it.
Yeah.
I know. We go back and forth in this, because we try and eat healthy, and then all of a sudden we're like, what's in this that people can't have it? And we realize, oh, maybe it's not that healthy. I went through that with soy sauce. Soy
no,
sauce.
say it ain't so.
Well, it's just because I have a gluten intolerance, and so soy sauce has gluten in it. Who knew? So thank you for saying that, though, because for people that have allergies, or people that maybe have specific diet needs, it's still good to know that you're able to go to your store and have a little bit of a treat.
Yeah, well, the whole point of the concept is just to give people a lot of options, whether it's a preference or a dietary restriction or whatever it is. We have all the options.
What else do you have for the holidays? Because I love those chocolate bombs. I'm going to be getting those.
Okay, yay. So, of course, we have the name bars, which many people do as stocking stuffers for every member of their family. And right now we're rolling out a whole host of pops, like Christmas tree chocolate pops, wreaths, chocolate candy canes, little squares that have chocolate squares that have cute holiday toppings. We have like gummy Santas and peppermint and mint chips and
And let's not forget, for the business owners that want a little bit more of a kick for their marketing, you could also put on a business card size, correct?
Yeah, so we do little business card size chocolates. They have a little flap, so you can put your own business card in the flap and hand somebody a chocolate. It's incredibly memorable. And then we also do corporate logos on chocolate bars.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know you did that.
Oh, yes.
Serious.
Sure do, yes.
Uh-oh.
There's a little bit of a lead time required, so you'll want to contact me now, because it's very interesting. I have to send away to have your logo printed in cocoa butter color.
Okay. We will be talking to you about that one.
Oh, look at that. You made a sale just by saying what you do.
That is cool.
That is
And-
awesome.
And just in case anybody cares, the best bar is dark chocolate with potato chips on it.
I'm not going to say no, because it's chocolate.
Sounds kind
I-
of weird, but the sweet with the salt, can't beat that.
So
And the crunch.
And the crunch.
I had never had a s'mores. I know I don't do hiking or camping or anything. So Jeff and Ashley said, why don't you try the graham crackers with the marshmallows and the chocolate? And it's like my go-to now. So it's definitely my go-to. But that's what I love, because I could go to that and then I could have something small. So I never walk out with just one thing, but it's because it's always on my mind. I love chocolate.
You do.
I do.
A lot.
How would people contact you, Shana, if they want to talk to you?
They can email me at topthischocolate@gmail.com. That's probably the most efficient way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We really loved having you on. Excuse me.
Yes, absolutely. And we will definitely be contacting you about that chocolate now. We hope that you'll come back and see us again, maybe towards Valentine's Day or before, so that we can hear what new things you have.
Sure. So happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Of
We
course,
loved having
thank
you
you.
on today, Shana. Thank you. Fun with HR was brought to you by Atharva Workforce. You can reach them at 805-826-0033. If you think hiring a professional is hard, wait till you hire an amateur.
If you have employees, then it is your responsibility to keep them safe. That means written rules and procedures and processes all in place. If you don't have an illness and injury prevention program, a COVID prevention program, safety program, or emergency action plan, you could have Cal OSHA knocking on your door with a notice of violation and fines in hand. But don't worry, you're not on your own. The HR firm can walk you through the safety maze to get your company compliant, all while helping you keep your employees safe. And remember, these need to be written and distributed to employees. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. The HR Firm, because if you have employees, you have issues. Finding people to add to your team can be difficult when you don't know where to start. Do you even have a job description? Do you know how much you should be paying them? Do you even know where to find the right people for your team? Let the professionals at Atharva Workforce help you get started and find your next star employee. Spend time on your business, not searching for that new star employee. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
What song is this one?
I don't know. I like it, though.
LMFAO. Okay, now I know the song. Okay, got it. Atharva Workforce is currently looking for window washing technicians, bookkeepers, back office dental assistant, and jewelry associates. If this is you, call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
I'm so excited about introducing our next guest. And the reason why I'm excited is because really I consider them a gem within our community. Now, we all know physical therapy. We all know that there's various places to go for physical therapy, but Equilibrium Physical Therapy is unique. And now I can tell you all about it, but I would much rather introduce our guest, Amy and Brandon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is fun. I've never done this before. Having the mic in front of me, it feels
Natural?
powerful. Yeah, and now everyone's forced to listen to us.
You have
Really
the
having a good
power
time.
now.
Well,
yes.
then I won't tell you that normally I think that the only two people listening are my mom and dad, but they really
Hi, Mom and
love
Dad.
it.
That's okay. You can catch Brandon on social media. He loves being on there too. We have a lot of great videos of Brandon there,
Aha.
including on our Facebook page and Instagram.
So Amy and Brandon, I know that Equilibrium Physical Therapy is not something that is new to our community, but very few people may know your specialty. And I think it's super important. And the reason is because, of course, I have mom and dad that live with us. And just recently, I had to look into physical therapy for mom. And I'm not violating her HIPAA rights because she put it all over Facebook. She fell. She fell. And as she fell, one of the things that we had to deal with is, did she fall because of something physical? Was it her balance? What exactly caused that? Because people don't just fall. I mean, there's always something that's causing that.
Right.
And so that actually got us talking to her doctor. And I was so happy that her doctor said, we're going to go through all of this, but one of the options was for maybe for mom to be referred to Equilibrium Physical Therapy because they wanted to make sure that her balance and her being, her systems per se, were all working together. And some of the things that maybe people don't realize is that there are inner workings that require to work together in order for you not to fall. So
Absolutely.
tell us about that. Tell us about equilibrium.
About the history or
Yeah.
about what we do?
Both. I want to
Oh,
hear both.
Okay, well, I'm Amy, obviously, one of the partners and owner at Equilibrium Physical Therapy. And I opened in 2007 because, a little bit of backstory, my dad had a very severe concussion. And it sent me down this path to figure out what to do to help people with balance issues and concussions. And so I opened in 2007 as a specialty clinic for vestibular rehabilitation, which is dizziness, vertigo, balance issues. And we do treat people with concussions, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But that was my whole impetus, was just to be a beacon in the medical maze for people who are dealing with these issues and really don't know where to find help.
Right.
Yeah, and overall, people will go and see 5 different doctors and have multiple tests before they even know what's going on.
Exactly.
Or where to go or get to the right person, which would be us.
Exactly. And I was really happy to see that the doctor didn't want her to go through all that. It specifically said, we're going to start here. But when we get to this point, you're going to equilibrium. And I was like, yay, I know them.
We'll have to send him a thank you.
Yes. Yes, but tell us, what do you have going now?
Well, right now we're really trying to expand our concussion services. It's one of the reasons I moved back to Ventura. I'm from here, went to Buena, I left for 10 years or so, came back after my schooling because in this last 10 years or so there's been an explosion of concussion research, and no one locally is really doing it well, right? So I really came back to modernize the concussion management game here, and we've been networking with folks like yourself to just serve as an educational resource to let people know that concussions are easily managed, and they're not as serious as some may think. Some of the symptoms can be serious, but they're very easily treated. So right now, concussion is one of our priorities, as well as some of our Parkinson's services, which I'll let Amy expand on a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to add, though, Brandon, tell the people who are listening about what's important about concussions in youth sports and not just after having a concussion. What's one of the important things that we deal with?
Well, right now we're really trying to push what's called a baseline test. A lot of our athletes that get concussed, we don't know exactly how to return them to the field, right? That's the big question. It's like, when is this kid safe to go back? And in California, physical therapists can make that call, right? So a lot of the liability is in our hands, right? So if we don't know how the kid performed pre-concussion, it's hard to know exactly when he or she is going to be ready, because you can't image a concussion, right? You can't see it on an MRI, you can't see it on a CT scan, right? So, in order to keep the kids as safe as possible, and usually to get them back as fast as possible, we run what's called a baseline test, where we get a picture of how the child performs neurologically pre-concussion. So we know that, hey, once they've reached these levels, as we progress them through our return to play protocol, then they're going to be safe to return to the field of the court or whatever sport they're doing. So baseline test, super important for concussion management in sports. So we're really trying to get as many of those ran for our local kids as we can.
Yeah, and it's just really about meeting the needs of the community, and that's, as you hear more and more about concussions in the news, it's really scary not to know how your child performs prior to having a concussion. One of the other community services that we're proud to provide is being a resource for fall prevention, balance screenings. We do that as well, and we do that with in coordination with Fall Prevention Coalition of Ventura. But as along the lines of being a resource is being a resource to the many people who have been diagnosed with Parkinson's and are really fighting that battle. And it's a difficult battle. Sometimes people don't know where to go. Sometimes people go to support groups and see patients at all different levels of progression, and it could be good or it could be not so great. So what we're doing is providing a resource for community by having our Rock Steady Boxing Ventura program that we launched this year. It's kind of growing organically because of the pandemic. We didn't put it out there in the beginning, but we are a resource, and it's a great way for neuroplasticity to improve so that patients can improve their coordination, their balance, and their strength. There's a lot of secondary problems that come from having Parkinson's, and that's just because Parkinson's makes people do less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and that's exactly why I said you're a gem in our community, because you're specialized. It's not
Absolutely. Right.
It's not like you were physical therapy, although you are, generalized physical therapy, but it's got a specific focus, and it's the balance. It's the mobility and how people are able to just regain, in a lot of ways, their independence.
Right.
That's a very good point, Rosenda. These are evidence-based programs that we have, and they're not only evidence-based programs we employ. We are both certified in practice. I'm certified LSVT Big rehabilitation specialist for Parkinson's, and I'm a Rock Steady Boxing head coach, certified head coach. Brandon and I are both certified in concussion management. So we've taken our education beyond to really provide that resource to our community.
Right. And the other part of that, though, is that you're hands-on. So even though you're the owners of the company, you're still hands-on, meaning you're seeing patients. You're the ones that they will have relationships with. It's not as if they're going to be assigned to a team and then you oversee them. You're hands-on, which I really appreciate. Right. Especially because, again, community-wise, whenever there's anything having to do with my parents, and I tell Jeff this, they're the most precious people I have in my life. So I want to know who it is that they're talking to, who's touching them, because I want to trust that when I'm not there in the room, everything is happening correctly.
Right.
And that's what you provide. You provide one-on-one, not only service, but really you're invested in each person. They're in essence your billboard.
Absolutely. And that's part of the LSVT Big rehabilitation program. That's our rehab component, physical therapy component for our patients who have Parkinson's. Rock Steady Boxing is really a gym membership, and it's made to come in there, work out, get your strength back, get your coordination, have fun, have a sense of community. And that's really big for us too. Absolutely.
Tell me, if you're able to, can you share your favorite success story?
That's a good question. I take a lot of pride in our chronic concussion and dizziness patients. We get a number of patients. A lot of them come from outside the area because we're the only ones in the area that do this stuff. It's a really needed niche, though. But we have people that are suffering for chronic dizziness, balance issues, visual issues for years and years and years, right? You can't read, they can't drive, like their life is really messed up, right? They can't lead a normal life, they can't do it, they can't work, can't go to school, whatever they're trying to do. They're really in a bad place. And with this knowledge that we've gained these last 5 years with all this new concussion research, we're able to help them, right? So we can get them back to leading a normal life, after years and years and years of being pretty debilitated. So we take a lot of pride in that.
I can attest that the mental stress that the inability to move right puts is big. Like I said, mom is she's my absolute hero. I mean, she's gone through two knee surgeries and a shoulder surgery all in the last 2 years. Wow. And she moves faster than I do. And one of the things that I recall during her therapy and her recovery was just how mentally she really, I don't want to say latched on, but really connected with her therapist to the point where it was that relationship that kept her showing up, kept her moving forward, and kept her understanding that it's not pain, but rather it's progress sometimes. But there shouldn't be that much pain. So then again, how do you communicate? So what you do is absolutely needed. And when given the opportunity to showcase you, I jumped on it.
Well,
Thank you,
thank you.
Rosanda.
We, and you speak about parents, and my dad with his concussion, he kind of crosses over both lines of vestibular dizzy and then concussion. He was the reason I do this, And so I understand when you talk about your mom, and that's what I'm most proud of, is being able to be a resource in that niche practice that is there for people. Like I wish somebody was there for my dad.
Right, right. So tell me, I'm going to have the I think the biggest question that I hope our listeners, mom and dad, have. Insurance. You take insurance.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
All kinds of insurance?
All kinds of insurance, Medicare, all kinds of PPO services, some HMO that are through an NIPA group that we work with. So yeah, TRICARE, you name it, we probably are contracted with it.
Well, the reason
and if not, we offer cash-based services.
Very good, because that's what I wanted to say. I don't want people to be in pain and think that the finances is why they shouldn't be able to approach you.
Absolutely not.
I want people to be very comfortable in knowing that they can talk to you about that, because again, you've said it, that when you're in a bad space, you want relief, and if you could provide it and you could work with them, why not? So absolutely an amazing opportunity. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, though, how would they do it?
Well, you can call our clinic at 805-339-9718. We are on Facebook, Equilibrium PT, I think it's VTA, Ventura, and same for Instagram. And then we have our website, www.equilibrium-bpc.com. Those are great ways to get a hold of us.
Wonderful.
Before we let Amy and Brendan go, I want to go back to the concussion management for a little bit.
Yes.
Great.
Are you working with high school sports teams to set the baseline with the athletes so that when they do have a concussion, you know how severe that is?
Yeah, we've been trying. We've been doing a lot of networking with coaches and administrators. We're trying to figure out the best way to get that coordinated with them. Right now, we've just had people coming into the clinic individually, but we've been doing our best to work with full teams to get the whole team's baseline. But that's part of the reason we're doing so much education in the community, so people understand, the importance of it for player safety. But yeah, we've been in talks with a lot of the high schools in town trying to get that
And we are big
launched.
on education, and we do have the capability to come in and actually set up your entire concussion management program, pre-concussion baselines to post-concussion. And we take that liability off of you because we are certified licensed professionals that are specialists, and so we can take on that liability for the school and really be that resource, and we're happy to do that. We're also happy to just, as Brendan said, come in and do some education to the teachers, to the coaches, to the students, to the parents. And we're there as a resource. Anybody who wants to contact us, we're happy to do it free of charge. We're just out there.
Yeah, I
Well,
would
hold
think
on. Say that last line again.
Free of charge?
Exactly. well, no, seriously, because I think a lot of times people say, "Well, I have this, I have that at this price." But what you're offering our community is your services and education, so that then they could benefit, and that's huge.
Yes, the education component. We're out there. Just give us a call. We're happy to provide.
Well, all the high school sports directors out there, you need to contact Amy and Brandon, because I think it's so important that we do get all of these student athletes baselined, especially in like soccer and football, because
Absolutely.
head injuries are so prevalent in those two sports, especially because I know, like, when my kids were doing AYSO, it was up until you were a certain age where they wouldn't even let you head the ball because your skull was not set or formed properly at that point, and you had a tremendous chance of getting a brain injury. So
Well, and besides that, we also have parents out there. So if The coaches and the schools are not going to do this. This is the opportunity for the parents to take care of their children. Again, Jeff and I were not together when the kids were going through all of this. Otherwise, I would have been the bear mama over them and going, "Ooh, I'm dragging you to equilibrium and we're doing this." Because again, as a parent, we want to do what's ever best for our kids. And I think part of that, though, is, again, the education. I can't tell you just how important what you offer is, and I can't help but get it really across to our listeners. I know it's more than mom and dad, but that they really definitely need to contact you. You're the gem within our community. Seriously.
Thank
You're
you,
the
Rosanna.
only
Thank you.
ones that do this, and we want to feature you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
And we have the resource. I mean,
Yes.
here they are. They're available, so take
Approachable.
advantage of them.
Approachable.
Yeah, and very approachable.
I mean, this is what I love about Ventura, and I think Shana said it. You know, she's still feeling welcomed. Get used to it, because you're going to be welcomed in Ventura as long as you're here. Ventura has a way of embracing people and making, them part of Ventura. I still say I'm from Bell, but I've been here close to 25 years now. And in a way, I love Ventura, but this is why. Because you get to meet people, you get to network with them, you get to grow with them. As a community, what did we say? We grow together. So this is how we do it. Oh, I'm so happy.
We do.
I think you said it earlier, is we support small business. And I was telling Shana off air that she's the only reason my daughter had an Easter when COVID broke and we couldn't buy Easter candy at CVS. So we all support each other. That's great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go. Easter. Ooh, chocolate Easter eggs. Love it.
Oh, stuffed chocolate Easter eggs, like that bomb in. I'm sorry. I can have chocolate year round.
Easter egg chocolate bomb. Yeah, okay.
Chocolate
Yeah.
poinsettias. Here we go.
There we go.
We're giving you a
We're
whole
giving
new
you
marketing
idea.
plan
Yeah. You can market those.
So, what does the HR firm have going on for the rest of the year?
My goodness. So I have to tell you, we are redoing about 20 handbooks right now. Not redoing, but rather revising them. This is the time of year when everybody kind of slows down and we ramp up, because we're trying to make sure that all of our clients understand this is the time when we need to look at what's working, what's not working, and also prep you for 2022 laws. I hate saying this, but there are new laws coming in 2022 that are going to affect every single employer. And so what we want to do is we want to start talking to people now so that in January it's not that big shock. Well, what do you mean? Unemployment? What do you mean? This insurance? Well, what do you mean? Like we talked about last week, if you have 100 employees or more, you should have 10 days of bereavement unpaid, but it should be 10, not 3. It's not up to you anymore. Anybody underneath that, it should be 3. So if you're on the cusp of growing your business to over 100 people, these are the sorts of changes that you need to make sure your handbook now reflects. So again, that's what we're busy doing.
Well, in addition to that, we're also updating safety plans and safety programs for our clients for 2022. So.
Right, because
Yeah.
after all, COVID's not going away. So a lot of times I get asked, can we just put COVID into our safety plan? And I always tell them this needs to be separate, because that needs to be, in essence, an ongoing live document that is always reflective of what your county health orders are. And we do have clients in several counties, so we have to attend to that. The other part of this whole thing is you're going to hear me say multiple times throughout December, this is also the time when you have to give your employees the opportunity to update their emergency contacts. I can't tell you the number of times when I've called somebody and they've broken up with their girlfriend or boyfriend and they need help and they go, not going to show up to the hospital, not going to help them. I want to avoid that. So let's just have the information that you're going to need to help your employees updated. Emergency contacts, if you have life insurance as a benefit, at least once a year, you want to make sure the beneficiaries are updated. Don't forget that W-4s are going to need to be updated. And, as with everything, let's just start out the new year ready for another successful run.
And I think the thing here is you need to give your employees the opportunity to update those forms. If they do, it's up to them, but you need to at least give them the opportunity. In the new year, And I can't stress this enough that Rosander brought up the emergency contacts. It's been more than one time where we have called somebody and they said, yeah, we're not going to make a decision for my ex-husband or ex-wife or whatever. And yeah, and all they had to do was just update that form when they had the chance.
Yeah, this year we dealt with somebody passing away, and that employee had never updated their beneficiary information, and ex-wife still showed as the beneficiary, and new wife had to fight for that. So let's just avoid some of these mistakes, and let's just, it takes 2 minutes to have a new form given out, and then all you need is follow through.
Not 4 minutes.
Not 4 minutes. That's my deal. I have 4 minutes to save the world.
You do. And oftentimes you do it in less. Well,
Yes.
it's another hour.
No way that was an hour.
Yeah, that was an hour.
We were having fun.
I know we were. But it's always great when you have really great guests to help make the hour go by quickly.
Of course. Of course.
Fun with HR was brought to you by the professionals at the HR firm and Atharva Workforce. We take care of each other so we can grow together. Until next week, when we'll have Juliana Ramirez from JR Bookkeeping, Alyssa Rosenberg from Lester Family Sellers. I cannot wait to have her on.
Oh, I know.
And Shannon Rice from Puranos. Everybody have a great week. We look forward to seeing you next Saturday.
I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey.